Welcome back, folks, to World of Warships Legends. Now, we've done some videos lately talking about some tips on how to play, and this is going to showcase a lot of them and then put them all together in one match here. Like knowing your teammates, adjusting to your teammates, getting good crossfires, using island cover to limit who can shoot you, worrying about caps, and stuff like that. So we're in the Hyuga, and this is absolutely going to be an amazing game. At Tier 5, this is one of the best games I've ever had, and in fact, this was almost a record in damage and XP. So, but we're going to talk about decisions I make in here. First of all, we've talked about teammates. We don't, instead of complaining about teammates, we adjust to the teammates. So, we say our destroyer go off to the right, which is not a good play here. We're not ripping on them. We just know that we need to adjust to this destroyer. We're going to work in kind of into the B cap. Another reason we're going to work towards the B cap is that island to our right here is going to cover us from a lot of the stuff from the left. And we can control the back side of A, as I let the carrier know, hey, I'm probably not going to have much spotting here. But if you guys look kind of where I'm aiming at back there, A cap can be very hard to keep control of because a lot of times the two teams will just sit on the other, opposite sides of the A cap from each other, and it ends up in a stalemate with nothing being productive. So a lot of times on this map, particularly in a ship I'm very comfortable with, like I am Hyuga, I will actually push in. As you can see here, I'm going to push in so I can get crossfire on these guys. So my first thing is worrying about the caps. That's what I'm doing first. So you can see I'm moving into B because my destroyer made a suboptimal play. And we are going to just slowly cruise up. Once I realize kind of the layout of the teams, I understand there's probably a destroyer over there. And there is the Badiana. Now, I can't get guns on target. This is another thing. Don't give up everything just to get a shot on somebody. You see, I'll send two over there, and we will get a productive hit from it. Now, here, California's pushed up enough to be getting crossfire on me. So you can see I'm going to start to move up a little bit and get turned to my left so I can get angled to California here. But again, not so far that I put myself in a bad position, enough to help take cap control here, and then also get crossfires. As you can see, we have turned that California around, and he is no longer moving into the cap. He's gonna back out. That's a smart play by him. It's a good play to do that. And you can see they have a destroyer over there. I can't shoot it, or I would try to help our battleship friend who's over there trying to cap. And as you see, you can see the cruiser moving in, the Badiana, which we just talked about in a video, talking about how good it is at getting rid of cruisers. And here it is, getting rid of a cruiser used correctly. Now, I probably wouldn't have given up my whole self to get rid of this destroyer, but getting rid of a destroyer in almost any ship is something productive. He maybe could have done this a little bit differently. We're going to make sure he goes. But he does it. He gets rid of the destroyer, and you can see I have put myself in a decent angle here. The only one that's got a very good shot is the Ishmael. So we're going to go ahead and a little bit start to angle to him. We're going to take a quick shot at the furry taco, as I always call it. And the Congo has pushed up into a kind of a decent spot if I wasn't here. But he doesn't realize I'm here, and we do go, in fact, get rid of him. As you can see, we have got this cap here. So with California not really an issue here, you see, we're going to load up, and I was going to take a shot at the Gaid, but the Ismail is moving up. So my next focus is, get angled to California and start on this Bayern and the Ishmael. Now, the one thing I was doing too is I was trying to get a little bit closer to this carrier because you can tell you can see my carrier guy is right there. I'm like, just spot the carrier for a second. I can dub strike him. That was my game plan. You see, I'm trying to make sure I'm angled or watching the guns of the California. Last thing I want to do is get murdered being in an aggressive position. This is how I play quite a bit. And we are going to go ahead. We know Ishmael is coming around the corner, so we're going to angle to him. And you can see here we take a shot. And he's angled pretty well. This Ishmael played pretty well against me here. And he does hit me a little bit, but the carrier is really the problem for me right now. The carrier is what I'm getting issues with. So I'll let Ishmael chase me for a little bit while I get into the A cap. And you're going to see we have a very good shot on California, but man, California is one of the tankier ships in the entire game. You're going to see we get a really solid shot. We had 7 really nice shots, and it still didn't Citadel. I mean, California can be a very tough ship to Citadel. So here we are taking the cap over. We know Ishmael's coming, but we've seen that he's willing to get really close to giving up his belt here. So instead, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a nice shot at Bayern because German battleships at range, you can do a lot of plunging fire damage to them. As you can see, the carrier is up now. Now, one thing to note here is this: if I had gotten this cap, this would have been the XP record, believe it or not. So, I was trying to get the cap here. That was my main play. But Ishmael was super aggressive, and he wasn't a bad player at all. I mean, what he does is not bad, but you'll see he makes one little mistake later. And so my thought is stay angled to Ishmael, but move up here because California is off to my left behind the island. He really can't do anything as we get a Citadel there on the aircraft carrier. Now, this is one mistake a lot of players will make. And this is a good point to this video, is I wasn't slightly angled enough to Ishmael. So we're going to take a shot here, but we're going to talk about a mistake players make in this game quite a bit. So Ishmael is right here, right? However, I'm not going to focus on the Ishmael. And the reason is there's going to be a carrier and a Bayern I can get crossfire on, right? So I know that Ishmael is a threat right to me right now. One of two things are going to happen in this scenario. You're going to see. I don't even shoot at the Bayern right now. You take the best target available to you, and that's what I do. Is we go ahead and shoot the Ranger, and you're going to see this pays out because there is 100%. Ishmael has either got to turn out and give up his broadside, or we're gonna end up ramming each other, and he's gonna give all his health to a ship that only has 3,000 health. So he, instead of turning in, which I probably would have done in his scenario, he turns out, and you can see how this is gonna pan out here as we see a magic trick as we make a new Russian submarine. But as you can see, we've had a really good game. We got the middle cap. We almost got the outside cap. And I didn't even realize it at this point. I wasn't looking at damage. I wasn't looking at kills. It's not something I pay attention to. But you can see here, I should have aimed that shot just a hair higher. We do a fair amount of good damage here, but we barely missed out on our Kraken here and taking out the Bayern, and we end up here with 218,000 damage. But more importantly, we controlled the middle of the map, crossfires, cap control. We almost had 2 caps. It was a really good game. And not to mention, not that I'm a damage guy, but 220 damage at tier 5 is insanity. This was, according to the build record, the 4th best game in damage and in XP. So had I got that solo cap on, the one I was trying to get, this would have been the XP record. But you can see how we were effective as 3,200 base at tier 5 and at controlling caps. And controlling what the enemy team did. Anyway, hopefully this helps you guys out. We'll see you next time. Have a good one, folks.